Hello everybody, welcome back to some Dark Souls 3. Now, picking up where we left off, we are at the end of the game. We have one boss fight left, and literally that's the only thing we have left to kill. Now, there are two things about this part that are, well, one thing that's going to be different from what I've said, and another part that's probably different than what you expect. The first part is we're not going to do all 4 endings in this part. I do have a backup save on a different Xbox, but the thing is the way that I have to transfer the saves, because Xbox doesn't actually let you remove the saves from the consoles. I'm assuming there's some kind of weird workaround or something you can do for it, but no. The only way that it can get fucked up, I would lose everything. If I lost everything, I would not play back up to get to the DLC. So my options were to just finish the game, and since I'm not worried about achievements, don't worry about getting all the different endings, or do the DLC first. Now, I was thinking of just doing the DLC first, and it is tempting, but you know what? Yeah, but I feel like since we went through all the main game, while it would still make sense to do the DLC first, we built up to this moment. I feel like we should probably just finish the base game. So like I said, I do have the backup save. So if once we're done all the DLC, because like I said, I'm not planning on getting all the achievements, and I don't think there's any. Yeah, there's just 1,000 gamer scores. So just like the other games, there's nothing. There's no achievements in the DLC. Man, I'm going to be so close to all the achievements in this game when we're done this part. But anyway, yeah, so like I still have it, and the other reason is I actually don't have enough souls to get one of the endings, to get the one ending. Because to get the one ending, I can't have the dark sigils, and to heal them, I would need the equivalent to 5 levels. So since I require 7,300 roughly right now, I would need like roughly 400,000 souls, I want to say, because obviously the cost for each level would go up. So I'd need roughly 400,000 souls to get to do the one ending. Oh, which would be a giant pain. So yeah, like I said, we're going to finish this game, or we're going to finish the base game, and then if after the DLCs are done, you guys want to see the other 3 endings, just leave a comment in the bottom of this video, and at the end of the DLCs, I'll get that save, and it'll either work and you'll get a video that's just the other 3 endings, or it won't work and you just won't get the video. Now, the other thing that's probably different than what you would expect is, obviously, as we've been playing this game, I've been collecting most of the weapons and armor. There are still some farmable weapons and armor that I have not got. Well, I'm not so sure about armor. I know that there's at least a couple of weapons that I have not actually farmed for. And anybody who knows, to get Yuria's weapon and armor, there's 2 ways to do it. One way, which is I'm assuming the way that you would expect me to get it, would be to summon her for the final boss, and she needs to survive it. And then when you come back, she'll be gone, and her weapon and armor will be there to pick up. Now, I don't want to do that because from what I read, you don't get her ashes, therefore none of the stuff that she sells would still be there, and since she is my source of purging stones, I don't want her gone. And I've said this before, I don't really care for the everybody must die at the end of Dark Souls if you get the good ending even. So we're just, unlike most boss fights where I make sure I summon, we're not going to summon her, and we will still summon the Pale Shade, because that one is also an option. I would have preferred to have summoned Yuria for the fight. And to be fair, if we summon her for the fight and she dies just before the end, but that's not really something I can I can really guarantee, you know? Like, that's not really something, like, I can try and plan for it and be like, once the, what is his name, Soul of Cinder, I think is the final boss's name, you know, like, once his health gets down low, you know, or low enough that I think I can deal with him, you know, then just let her die. But then I don't know how good she is in this fight, so it could be that I misjudge how low his health needs to be, and she just ends up killing him. So yeah, like I said, it is very tempting to summon her on the off chance that she doesn't survive the fight. But I don't know how hard the fight is, so it's hard to judge. So, like, if he kills me here, we'll see how the Londor Pale Shade does. And if we lose on our first attempt, which is completely possible, I mean, it is the final boss. So, I mean, it's not like it would be unheard of for the final boss to kill me. I don't claim to be amazing at this game. Now, as far as I'm aware, he's only weak to dark, I think. I only have one of these, but that's fine. If I die, I only need one. If I die, I can buy more. And now this fight is rather weird in that he has a few different builds that he goes through in phase 1. So, like, we can see him out there. And actually, if I have my bow equipped, we can get a better look at him. We can see him out there, and he's going to fight us, but he's going to fight us one of, I don't know, at least 3 different ways. Based off builds that people like to use in Dark Souls. So, like, one of those is a sorcerer set. Or sorcerer set, yeah, sure. One of those is a sorcerer build. And if we had the Vow of Silence, it would work for it. But anyway, like I said, we're going to go in with the Londor Pale Shade. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we do. Either it'll go great and we'll kill him first try and Uriel will still be alive. Or it won't go great and we'll may summon Uriel for it, our second attempt. Oh. Now this doesn't look like it'd be too bad. Wow, his delays are brutal though. That on and then try and get over there to pull him off. Oh, well, he got the heal off. Oh, see, now he's switched. I think this is the Pyromancer set. He's using a curved sword. And I think he can cast Pyromancies. Yeah, there's a combustion right there. Oh, what the hell was that first hit that I took? Oh, he changed up. Now he's using a lance. I mean, he's still technically using the coiled sword, but I mean, you know. Now, unlike other bosses, well, I guess not, because I guess the Twin Princes kind of work like that. Ow, fuck. Where you had to, I was gonna say, unlike some bosses where you need to eliminate, where like half their health bar goes away. Oh, now there's the sorcerer. Okay. So our Shade is still alive. But now he's going to go into phase 2. And he is now Gwyn from Dark Souls 1, basically. Which, in all honesty, isn't great for me. Oh god, did not know that that happened. Oh. Oh, there goes our Shade. I see he's been taking some lessons from Gundyr. Okay, I didn't know what the hell that attack was. Oh, that. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, and I'm dead. Alright. And here's the thing, right? And I said that that's bad for me. I was never good at fighting. I know that he's considered a really easy fight. Like that Gwyn from the first game is considered a really easy fight. I know that. I always sucked at fighting him. Like I was never good at fighting him, ever. Now he did tear through the Pale Shade pretty easily in the second phase, so I'm actually tempted to summon both of them. Here, especially since I don't have any more Dark Pine Resin, or what was it, Human Pine Resin, I guess. So we are actually going to summon both, and if Yuria survives, it'll be unfortunate, but I'll just deal with it. I'm going to try and make it so that she doesn't survive the fight, which is a weird thing. I'm trying to make it so that she dies, so that she doesn't die, you know? But yeah, he did seem to do quite a bit of damage, especially once he hit phase 2. I don't... well, I mean, I can change up my equipment so that he doesn't do... I mean, because I have a bunch of stuff on that's fairly worthless. I mean, that increases my damage. Is there anything else I would rather have? I mean, if I had something that made me, like this here, it increases HP or story. If it made you drink faster, that would be nice. But since that's not the case, we'll go with like this. And I'm not too worried because I think it was only like 1,200 souls. Oh, good god, that fucking... The delays in this game are the things that always get me. I guess I'll pick it up since I'm here. Oh wow, the extra health is a bit much, I will say. He's, he does seem to have gotten a not insignificant amount of extra health. Okay, I did not want to hit him that many times, but whatever. Not overly worried about a little bit of poison since it does so little in this game. Oh, he's switching it up. Oh, went Sorcerer. Unfortunately, even though he went Sorcerer, he still has the poise of the fucking heaviest armor in the game. I'm not sure that it's possible to stagger him outside of like the big staggers. Oh, fucking got caught on a tree. Oh, what is he? Oh, back to Sorcerer. Saw that greatsword coming out a little late. Okay, there we go. Go, back up, heal up. Get a couple of free hits there. Oof. Okay, he's focused on me. Okay, didn't realize I was quite that close. I was about to say that it would be kind of nice if you managed to kill Yuria, but the Pale Shade was still alive. Okay, now I don't know who that... Okay, it is going on. Wow, I don't know how the hell you're supposed to dodge that when it targets you. That, she's still... Oh, I guess... I was gonna say, she's still fucking poisoned, but I guess so am I. Oh, good god. Like I said, the delays in the attacks and the chain. I also don't much care for the fact that when they're... when they're in the middle of a grab animation, they're invulnerable. Oh, that's targeting me. I was gonna do this and hope. Okay, that is how you dodge it, is just book it. Yuri, you want to take this? Nope, still... Oh, good god. Yuria, do something during that. Oh, that's... Oh, not dead, somehow. I guess... Okay, well, there goes Yuria. Okay, well... Yuria died, so that's part 1 complete. Oh, just get the hit, get the hit. Yes. Well, we did it. We killed them. I will say I probably shouldn't have summoned both of them, because that was a lot of extra fucking health, man. Like, that was an insane amount of extra health. Anyway, we got the Soul of the Lords. Since Lord Gwyn, the first Lord of Cinder, many exalted lords have linked the first flame, and it is their very souls that have manifested themselves as defender of the flame. So the reason why in Phase 1 he can go through so many different builds is because it's supposed to represent basically all the different player characters that have linked the flame in the other 2 games. And then obviously he reverts back to just Gwyn once they all fail. Or at least I think that's the idea behind it. And now, because we have followed Yuria and Yul's, or Yuria's quest line, we have unlocked her ending, and now I think that all we have to do is just... Okay. So this should just trigger her ending.
Gracious Lord, make London whole.
Alright, and then that was the main game, the base game of Dark Souls 3 done and done. Like I said multiple times throughout it, it's not that it's a bad game, it's that it just didn't feel like, I don't know, it felt like this weird part like in between Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Like I said, that like your character felt like a Dark Souls character, but the enemies felt like Bloodborne characters. Which anybody who's played, Dark Souls and then Bloodborne or vice versa would know, like Dark Souls 1 and 2, obviously the enemies are a lot slower, that it's a lot more methodical. While they do have obviously attack chains, there's obviously a lot more openings in between those chains. The enemies aren't nearly as aggressive. And while they do swarm you at times in those games, for the most part there's ways around it, whereas there were multiple areas in this game where they had all of the enemies' aggros linked together So as soon as you aggroed one, you automatically got swarmed, whether or not you were pulling them from a distance with a bow or something. You know, there were multiple areas like that. And the only area like that I can think of in... I honestly can't think of an area like that in the first Dark Souls. The only area that I can think of that in Dark Souls 2 is the Dragon Shrine, where as soon as you attack one of the little dragon fucks, all of them are now aggroed on you until you go back to a bonfire. And I think it might even just be the ones that are in the area. Either way, I mean, even then you're not getting swarmed until you make it to the stairs and aggro anything, in which case you fucked. But yeah, like, I don't know, just like the enemies seem to be sped up significantly more. And it's not even that their attacks were faster. I would be fine with that. It's that they didn't, like, I don't know. Like I said before, it seems like their pauses in between when they finish an attack and when they start another attack just seem to be rather random. And, which is normally fine, but I feel like the lower end, like the fastest that they could go from one attack to a completely different attack, like not like an attack chain. Like if it's a 3-hit combo, I don't mean like the amount of time in between each hit, but like let's say they have a 3-hit combo and then they have like a shield bash or something, right? And the amount of time that it went for them to go from like shield bash to 3-hit combo or 3-hit combo to shield bash, that amount of time just seemed to be really, really slim. Like, well, perfect example, the Nameless King. Our first couple fights with him, he left us so many giant openings, right? And then after our first few attempts, I don't remember how many it took before he stopped doing that. But like after our first 2 or 3 attempts, all of a sudden there was basically no openings in between his attacks. And like I said, in a game like Bloodborne, where you attack quickly, your dodge was really fast, it worked. But your attacks seem to have so much wind up and so much downtime after the hit compared to the enemies that it doesn't seem fair. Like, obviously the game is still doable. Obviously they're got everything in that you can get in New Game, I think. I mean, obviously I haven't done all the Covenant shit yet, but you know, whatever. I probably just won't. Because if I'm not going to get all the achievements, I'm not going to worry about grinding out for what seems like, if you read stuff online, literal hours to get them. But yeah, I gotta say, I probably have more complaints about this one than I do the other ones. The other FromSoft games. Obviously, I haven't played Sekiro. I haven't played Demon Souls. But like Bloodborne, I had very few complaints about. Like, I went through that game. In my videos, it was New Game Plus after the first couple videos, because obviously my New Game Plus save file was... If you watch that one, my New Game Plus save file was already a little bit into the game. I think the first boss was finished, or the first 2 bosses or something were done. So I played New Game up until I caught up to my New Game Plus save file and switched to that. But like, I went through that, and very rarely was there an enemy that I came across that was like, this is bullshit, right? And like, even the bosses, like there was a couple bosses, like I think Lawrence, I think it was he was like the big fire guy. Like, I had a lot of trouble fighting him, but it never felt unfair. And like the fucking, he wasn't Pontiff, was he? The dickhead on top of the castle. Like, when I first played the game, I actually bought PS Plus just so I could summon someone to help me with that fight, because I just couldn't do it, and then I fucking walked it first try in New Game Plus. But anyway, and then in like Dark Souls 2, if you watch my playthrough of that, there was enemies in the DLC, which really makes me worried for this DLC. Because like Dark Souls 2, I honestly felt like the game was too easy. And then we hit the DLC, or then we would hit a DLC area, And I felt like the game was too hard. Like, I felt like the DLC enemies were way harder. And the thing is like, they may not have seemed so hard if you were, like, if I wasn't comparing them to the main game ones, because obviously when I played Dark Souls 2, I did the DLC as I came across it. So I was switching between fighting the regular game enemies and the DLC enemies back and forth. And like every time I would go into a DLC, I would just feel like I'm getting the absolute shit kicked out of me, and then I would come out of it and just feel like an absolute monster because of how easy everything seemed. Like even the things that still managed to kill me or give me trouble in the base game after a DLC still felt significantly easier. Like there was very few things in Dark Souls 2 that I felt were bullshit outside of the DLC. And like Dark Souls 1, like I think the only boss that gave me a huge amount of trouble, begin journey to in current state, no, was in all honesty Gwyn. I think he was my biggest problem. Sadly enough, I think Gwyn was the hardest boss fight for me in the original Dark Souls, but I never did the DLC. It's like I never fought Calamine, I never fought Artorias. So, I mean, I imagine one or both of those. I mean, I've seen people fight Calamine, I've seen people fight Artorias. If I had to guess, I would say Artorias would be harder for me. But, um, yeah, I don't have, but like I can't. To be fair, it's been a long time since I played the original Dark Souls. So like, if I do end up buying the remastered version and doing videos in it, we may come across a lot of stuff that like it turns out that I don't like of it. You know, like different things. Like I can't think of anything specifically right now, but it has been literal years since I played that game. Um, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, like just so many enemies that I came across in this game had like one or two things that were just like until closer to the end. Like the Grand Archive seemed really easy. Like there were areas, but I guess like the Lothric Knights, right? Like that little shield bash that they do when you try and circle around them, that they come off with insanely quick, or in the middle of a combo, all of a sudden they just smack you with your shield, which would be fine if that was a thing the player could do. Like the thing with the enemies in the first two Dark Souls games is there was very little that they could do that you couldn't, right? Because most of them that came at you, they whacked you with their stuff, right? Or they blocked with their shield. Like, I feel like there wasn't that many things that they could do that you couldn't. Like, even the spellcasters outside of obviously bosses, but, you know. But I mean, like, the sideways shield bash, obviously you can have a shield bash as a player. Like, that is a thing you can have on your, like, as a skill on your shield, is you can have the shield bash, but you can't do it to the side like that. And it, once again, like this, well, I'm going back to the Lothric Knights because they're just like the first enemy that I came across. I was like, why is this game so bullshit, right? But yeah, there just seemed to be a lot of stuff, and like the way the poise system works in this game, like you stagger so easily. Now, to be fair, I usually go with light armor anyway, so even in Dark Souls 2, I pretty much, if I got hit, I was staggered. But like the way that it works is like so many of the enemies would just poise, like because of the way it works, you get your poise on your attacks. It's not just passive, it's active poise. So like when you're attacking is when your poise kicks in, and like depending on the attack, it activates like a certain amount of your poise or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but either way, they didn't seem to adjust the speed of the enemies based on the enemy's passive poise. So like you would come across enemies that there was basically no chance in hell you were staggering, and and they would attack just as fast as the enemies that you could stagger. Like the Lothric Knights were very easy to stagger unless it was during an attack, and even then, even with my katana here, which I used for the entire game, they still staggered. I think in most, if not all, of their attacks, they would stagger. Obviously, we would hit each other more often than not if I hit them during an attack, but either way. But there was a lot of enemies that, like, because my weapon has such a big wind up to it, right? We'll go over here. Like, because, like, it takes my character that long to attack, and like even like the second hit, right? Like there's a lot of time in between those swings, and even in between that swing and that swing, an enemy would start an attack and immediately get their poise and just smack the shit out of me, right? Even though that was as fast as this weapon goes. So yeah, like I feel like that kind of really backfired. And the thing is like in Dark Souls 2, obviously there was lots of enemies that had poise that you weren't going to stagger, or that would stagger you during specific instances, movements, whatever, right? But I feel like if it was an enemy that like only got staggered if they weren't in the middle of an attack, like if their poise was like right on the edge of what your weapon could do, so that during their attacks you couldn't stagger them. If I was using most weapons outside of like the heaviest ones, and even some of the heaviest ones, because like I've seen people play that with fucking like giant, like with the big swords and that, right? And during their first and second swing, the enemy wouldn't be starting an attack in between that. But there was so many things where the enemies, while they were easy to stagger, they also recovered and could start attacks during their stagger, and then would just smack the shit out of you. But yeah, as you can see, Yuri is alive. I don't.
Our lord and liege, thine heart is fixed upon brave usurper. So that
Okay. So she doesn't even register that you've already done it. But I'm glad she's still here. I'm glad she's still alive. As you saw, there was at least 2 different people that looked like her during that. I'm assuming one was her and the other was one of the, like, I think there's supposed to be 3 sisters of the Sable Church, and she's one I do believe is in the DLC, and then there's another one that's that we don't get to see. What? Oh, I'm not the wrong throne. But yeah, I will say, out of the 3 Dark Souls games, this one is or out of all the FromSoft games that I've played, which is Dark Souls 1, 2, and now 3, and Bloodborne, this is probably my least favorite of them. But anyway, with the Soul of Lords, we can get Sunlight Spear. The Tales of Gwyn's Archdragon Hunts describe the inception of the Age of Fire, or we can get the Firelit Greatsword. The Lords of Cinder linked the first flame, and this greatsword was wielded by their deific manifestation. This coiled sword, found thrust in the bonfire, existed long before the throneless lords themselves. Yeah, the fading flame momentarily illuminates and launches itself forward, so that was that jump attack that he was doing. But we'll grab this one. I don't know why, once again, not going to get all the miracles because I got to do Covenant stuff for them, but who knows, maybe I'll get ambitious and get them at some point while we're doing the DLC. And then I don't think that we've unlocked anything else here, but we'll take a quick look. Oh, got the Firelink set. Helm of the Soul of Cinder, a deific manifestation of the Lords of Cinder, like the first flame. It resembles a knight's helm, but bears hideous burns and contortions. A misshapen crown can be seen upon its rear. It exists as a symbol of the great lords and the noble act of linking the fire, though it is no more than an empty husk. And then this one here, burns contortions taking the shape of a deathly ribcage. They resemble a knight's gauntlets, but bear hideous burns and contortions. And then that one's the same. But yeah, this is the Firelink set. Glad I actually came and looked. And then that should be all. So yeah, there we go. We got that. We kept everyone alive that we could. I mean, I guess technically we could have kept Korvac alive if we didn't want to finish the quest line, but I mean, we're not gonna, not do the quest line. What armor do I have? The Outrider. Oh right, I forgot that I had the Outrider on. But yeah, this here's the Firelink set, which is a pretty nice looking set, I will say. Yeah, this is a nice looking set. Maybe we'll run around with this. Let's see. It is not as good as the Outrider armor. It's, I would say, relatively equivalent to Cirrus's armor, I guess. But yeah, we'll run around with this for now. Why not? It looks good. It honestly kind of looks like Sekiro armor. A little bit. I don't know, just like the way that, I don't know. Just something about it, just like the arms like the gauntlet part seems something like Sekiro. But yeah, like I said, probably my least favorite of the FromSoft games that I've played. Still a decent game. Oh my god, fuck off. Um, but yeah, but still a good game. We'll go into the DLC next part. It only took us a couple tries, so this part is a little short. But that was kind of expected. I didn't think that the final boss would take me that much or that many tries. 2 was a little bit faster than I thought I would do it. Not gonna lie. Also, do I not have? Oh, apparently. Oh yeah, because I guess I only died the once. But yeah, we'll go into the DLC in the next part. I think I've started leveling up my strength. So where's? Oh, and we bought the armor, so I don't have enough to level up anyway. But yeah, that'll be it for this part. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed our romp through Dark Souls 3. I know that I complained about it a lot, but I mean, FromSoft, make a better game.